Welcome to Rauta. This video is done in commercial collaboration with our sponsor, Steelfest. Hello and welcome to Rauta's take on Steelfest 2023 lineup. Now, previously I went through this lineup when some of the bands were not announced, and that gave you a little bit of a glimpse of what to come and what to expect from the coming May. That is not exactly summertime in Finland, but close enough, and usually it's ready for your shirts, t-shirts and shorts to be worn and enjoy some beverages with friends and whatnot and enjoy the bands. Now the final lineup is already there, and you've probably already seen some of my videos with the ads of Steelfest to come, so it's time to discuss which bands you are supposed to see and which ones are my favorite. That is, which ones I'm going to focus. Cannot really say anything about the interviews yet, and I'm planning to do another video later on towards the festival when I have some good news about those interviews. So far only one interview has been set, and the focus is still something that is happening before Steelfest. But enough of that. This time I will recap this lineup twice. First, what you should see, and secondly, what I would like to see. So by the time you're pretty much done with my recommendations, you can just skip off the rest of the video unless you really care about what I have to say about my own favorites. But I'm doing it in this order so it makes more sense to you. And then I will take a quick look to the page in the end if I just remember and all that stuff, so you get the basic information, what to do, how to get to Steelfest and all. So let's go with the list here. So first you see the poster with the logos and names, but since that is not too readable and all, it's better to just go down with the list. Now, first and foremost here on top of the list is Nocturnal Mortem, the most controversial band of the whole event. There's a couple of reasons why you would like to see it. First of all, it's not too common a band to see, and secondly, it comes from Ukraine. And if you want controversy, that's your band. Of course, that is always there to see because of that. Marduk is always a good live band, both on albums as well, but something that you probably need to see in case you haven't seen them before. And even if you have, I mean, why would Marduk fail you? Also, I think Carpathian Forest is worth mentioning because they did play at Steelfest 2017 and I enjoyed it. To be honest, it surprised me positively based on the interview I did before the actual show. It was way more powerful than what to expect. Now, Carpathian Forest hasn't been really active past few years with the albums and all, so I guess it's kind of a surprise horse. I don't know what the saying is really, but you know, we have the saying like the black horse that is about to surprise you. I mean, might do that, might necessarily not, and definitely worth giving a shot once you are at the venue. And of course, Destroyer 666 is definitely one of those leading live bands, which I think is something that people would and will enjoy if they are coming to a festival like this to begin with. Those who want some safe zone and probably other things like that are not gonna come to the fest anyway, nor see the bands like that. Way too dangerous. They're going to see bands like Gojira or Five Finger Death Punch. Again, I really can't comment for the first run down with the list because I haven't seen them. So let's come back to that later on. B-Hexen is always something that is kind of working well. Not the most surprising band in the world, but when it comes to Finnish black metal, solid as hell. Ergihal is one of my all-time favorites from Norway, and I witnessed them last year in Norway. Definitely worth seeing. Nunslaughter I've seen only once, but I remember them being highly entertaining. Not for those who want their music 100% seriously, but definitely something that is stirring up right there. For people who want something very, very rare, are up for Pest. It's a kind of side project of Satanic Warmaster, but this is kind of a one-time thing, so you don't want to miss that. And Varadrom coming from Greece, warm-hearted guys playing Greek, classic Greek black metal. Don't miss this one. Right for Revenge is also doing one of the very few shows. It seems this is one of the exceptions. So if you're up for something out of ordinary in terms of black metal, something crude or more primitive and all, don't skip this one. And what else? The Committee played at Steel Chaos a few years back, and they totally surprised me positively. I had no previous experiences with the band, and thus it was like, wow, this is something I need to check out. Have I still properly listened to their music? Nope. I keep forgetting things because of massive amount of music all the time for review. But at least live-wise, these guys rocked my socks off. And of those who want some depression live stage, Total Self-Hatred from Finland is exactly that. And Lloyds from Estonia, they are doing their kind of a black and roll, which is their version of World War II of black and roll. I mean, it's not your typical black metal band in any of the ways, but definitely worth giving a shot. Torture Killer playing their death metal, one of the best death metal bands in Finland, always up for the seat. I don't know how they come to steal whatever events, TLK is Steelfest so often, but they always kick ass. So if you haven't seen them, you must see them. They're one of the best death metal bands from Finland, and that should tell you all about it. Pensies Nocturnis is something that I'm very much expecting to see live because on albums I have almost hated them. They are too much circus music for my like, but don't take that personally. It's not like I have anything against the artists themselves. I'm actually looking forward to see this show because they are supposed to be totally different than the rest of the bands. These will get 2 mentions on the list for various reasons. You will get back to that. And True Black Dawn, one of my, I guess in a way, favorite black metal fans from Finland. Definitely something that you'd need to see. And then something different is also performed by Hail Conjurer, this one-man band, and he can do it live. Well, it's it's interesting. Let's put it this way. Not musically everybody everybody's cup of tea, but I think it's an interesting live. Definitely worth seeing. Other bands from this list for the first go, I think Coraxel because they are solid, on album, and they convinced me that it's even better than the so-called main bands by the guys who playing in the band. And of course, Azazel. Who wants to miss Azazel? Frequent visitor to Steel Cases and Steel Fest events. Well, Steel Fest anyway. So that's the first lineup rundown, in my opinion, which the bands you should probably put an X mark on your list. Of course, the more you see, the more you know, the more you like and all that stuff. So definitely that. And before we do the second rundown with my personal favorites and also something that I wouldn't recommend that much, well, let's before quickly recap the information. First of all, here on Steelfest site, you will get to see the festival city information. There's not much to tell about Hyvinkää. It's quite small city. It's a basically commercial street right across the city, and everything kind of goes different directions from that. There's some hotels, mostly I guess booked by now. Same goes for Airbnb. So if you don't have yet any kind of accommodation, but you would prefer a hotel, look for other cities or towns. There are nearby towns which have hotels, and of course you can travel from Helsinki. That's also a possibility. If you're up for, however, a tent or school gymnasium classroom accommodation, that's available too. And here on Steelfest site you will find all the necessary information how to arrive. It's easy to come from Helsinki, using public transportation like local train, and that is the railway station is like here it says 500 meters from the festival gates, so it's like a couple of minutes of walk basically. So really really easy to come to Hyvinkää and the festival. The festival is as much in the middle of the small city as possible. Tickets, 2 and 3 days tickets are still available, and you can get those wristbands changed, and as early as you can change it, the less waiting you have to be done in the queue. So take this information seriously in case you don't want to miss some of the first bands. And there is possibility to get this 3 days ticket with accommodation, and this is happening like I said, school gym hall or whatever, gymnasium class, whatever. And there's security, shower possibility, toilets, whatever you need. And of course, you want something more madness, go to the camping area. Never been there, but I've been told it's madness. Me, I'm just the kind of a old guy who wants some privacy and French and sauna, of course. So I'm staying with my friends in an Airbnb, which if you can book, I totally recommend, as well as going to those hotels. But these are other options in case you want. And the rest of the information you can also get from here, like how the trains work and blah blah blah. And the rest of the information, I'm not gonna recap it because you can basically read it. So now my second rundown. Now it's for the lesser fans for you to piss off and do whatever you want. And if you want my opinion on certain bands, let's do this rundown with a little bit different angle. Personally, I'm definitely looking forward to see Nocturnal Murder. Never been exactly a fan of the band, but I'm interested to see how they play live and hopefully get an interview. It would be interesting to see Ukrainian band to give an interview because of the world situation and because of their music. Marduk, always solid. Probably not going to watch it all the way because seen Marduk so many times, see them last year and all that stuff. Caribbean Forest, looking forward to see them again, like I mentioned. And Destroyer 666, I missed last year, so it's now time to watch it again. Seen them a few times, always solid. For me, one of the highlights is definitely Gehenna from Norway. It's one of those 1990s synth-filled black metal bands that I started to like very much. Never see them alive, so now it's my chance to see them. So for me, it's kind of a must-have bands. BX and Girl, like I said, they're definitely up there. Not the first, I don't know what to expect, but gonna see them. Never seen that one before. Technically speaking, Carpathian for a side project, just more goofy, so I don't know what to expect live. Non-Slaughter, definitely good. Dirt and Scar, another Norwegian band I've never seen live, and I hope that they're playing old stuff because that stuff is great, especially the second album, which is one of my all-time favorites from Norwegian black metal scene. Definitely good. And Austria from Australia, never seen them live, but it's good, so I hope to see them live. And Pest, it's been quite a while, like 2 decades, since the last time I actually listened to the guys, so I'm looking forward to see their show because this is indeed a rarity. Varadron, like I mentioned, a good band, and I kind of wish to re-interview them because in Scotland, when I interviewed them 2019, we had technical problems. To kind of like need another shot. Not Evil from Norway, also definitely something I want to see, as well as Grenadier. Haven't seen them. Redwoods End never been my cup of tea, but that's something I want to see at least partially because I am going to interview with them. At least that was planned already, so definitely interesting. And comedy I already mentioned. Logist and Total Self-Rated are something that I've seen recently, so these might be the ones I skip if I have to. Ymir is something I haven't seen yet live, and both of their albums are good, especially the first one, so that is something don't want to miss. Torture Killer, I want to see it because it's good, but like I said, seen them so many times, like a few months ago, already seen it, not that much of a must-see for me, which applies to Earn as well. I mean, seen them a couple of times before. Pensis Nocturne is definitely something I want to see because, like I said, it's going to be something different. It's not purely metal, and it's totally unique band. Horrible, maybe music-wise, but I guess they might be one of the most entertaining acts on the lineup. If you ever listen to their music, you will understand why. And True Black Dawn features not only my friends, which is always nice to see on stage, but they also, like I said, one of my favorite bands from Finnish black metal scene. So definitely something I am happy to see again after a few years break. Merrimack from France, never seen them live, never been exactly a big fan of the band, but yeah, they got me interested, so happy to see them live. Which goes as well for Sacrilegious Impalement, many years since I've heard these guys properly, so I gotta give that one a go. Um, Evil Incarnate did pretty decent of an album a while ago, which I reviewed, and they have been in touch with me via Facebook, so I guess I kind of owe them that show. And of course, Japanese bands are never too common in Finnish soil, on Finnish soil, so I gotta see them. And Rienaus is pretty good always, especially on albums. I would definitely say that. Sotherin, I was told, is pretty good, but it's kind of a side project, so really don't know what to expect. And when it comes to these Colombian bands, probably just out of sheer interest, like what to expect, I don't know. Warnot, Gaurithoth are also rarity, so definitely a kind of a novelty value, if nothing less or nothing more. So definitely worth seeing. And Koraksul, finally, something that I want to see because their first and only album so far is really good. Even better than the main bands, or main bands by the band. So a couple of rundowns down, and overall it looks really, really interesting. Might not be so much of these bigger highlight bands like, Marduk, Vatain, the type of thing, but at least a lot of smaller bands that are going to be first time even for me. And I've been, to the shows so many times. You probably know it. And a lot of you veterans, I bet there's a lot of bands you haven't seen before. And for those of younger age and lesser experience, probably a lot of bands you're going to see now for the first time. So definitely a lot to see and worth your money. Whew, I almost got sweating because of just reading the list. So it's going to be fucking interesting 3 days of festival life. So am I looking for Steelfest 2023? Yeah, like 5 stars out of 5 stars. Always could be something more better or more interesting, but I mean, at this age, I'm definitely looking for some new experiences, not to see the old bands over and over and over again, which is kind of more likely to happen as you get older. But you know how it is, and enough rambling on my behalf. See you at Steelfest. Should you have questions or whatever, let me know, and I hope to come back to the some kind of a preview later on this spring about Steelfest, but I don't know what really to say about it because now pretty much everything has been said. But if and when I have more ideas how to maybe answer your questions or recap some of the ideas here, let's do it later on. But now, make sure you got accommodation, book your flight tickets, and make goddamn sure that you have the festival ticket before they're sold out. This is Rauta. See you soon and see you at the festival in 3 months. Take care.